Patreon. Hey guys, once again, thank you for your support. I want to build off of this Chief mini scheme. Once again, I'm using Chargers as my regs team just because I'm getting familiarized with the players and all that stuff. The scheme I'm going to build off of is going to be off this gun Y off, and I'm going to actually switch this over to the gun Y trips offset weak. Now, the reason I want to do this is I want to be able to go ahead and have a quick audible where it doesn't move my guys around too much, and I can actually have 4 more plays to my play selection. So let's take a look at the audibles. We're going to use motion Z spot as our top audible. We're going to leave inside zone. We're going to swap out verticals for halfback angle, and then we're going to swap out the other play, which is I think is a play action play for Y corner. I've looked at some of the other plays in this scheme, but just to go back to this, a halfback angle kind of works like verticals. So if I need a verticals play, I can always streak up the slot receiver. But I have a nice angle route with the running backs. It's a nice man beater that we have, and then a crossing route with the tight end. Y corner gives me a nice post on the backside. I've also got a corner route by the tight end, and I've got a clear out routes with 2 ends, and they usually have a concept I like to use, and then a nice depth running back, which is kind of like an out and up with the running back. And then the other play we're going to feature is going to be the motion Z spot. Why I like this play is because of the spot route. Spot routes are very deadly against man coverage and zone coverages that float up. Nice little check down, so you can definitely complement an entire scheme with that. So let's go ahead and jump into this scheme. Out of the huddle, I'm usually going to audible into this, but I do want to highlight a play that I'm probably going to highlight on my YouTube channel, which is going to be this halfback slip screen. We're just going to use this against random nickel defenses, Chief defense, and I went ahead and backed it up. So let's take a look at the screen. I'm going to probably do a standalone video with this with screen, but this is one of the better screen designs in the game, and one of the reasons why is that a lot of slip screens don't have, they usually just do all vertical routes and stretch deep. They don't necessarily have quick, shallow routes, crossing routes, or slant routes. Not a very common thing with a lot of slants. So that actually gives me a progression or read. So my first read is going to be Allen. I'm going to look to see what happens with his man. I'm going to see in his route if those linebackers float up or float down actually in a man assignment. If it's a man assignment, Allen should get separation. Now, if I get my feet set, I should be able to throw it. Hubert in this offensive line is really not that good. We actually have a good defensive tackle in Jones, so this might force me to throw some bad plays. But if the defenders all float up, then I'm going to drop it down to the slip screen for an easy completion. So right here, as an example of why I like this particular play is that if it's a man read, I can get rid of the ball, especially if I'm not pressed, for an easy completion. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this in instant replay. Watch this right here. He's going to get separation. And as you can see, this guy just pulls out of this area completely, and this linebacker comes in on a blitz. So I know that if that's man coverage, I know that this guy's historically, if he's got off coverage, he's going to get separation, and I can throw that for a big completion. So you can see right here, 25, I'm picking up 10 yards on a slip screen, man coverage, which historically blows up a slip screen. Now, I don't necessarily look to the other routes. The other routes are dead to me, and I can't audible them. So I'm really just looking for two routes. I'm either looking at Allen or the running back. So right here, once again, man coverage. We're just going to go ahead and take that and try to turn that up. Now look how the guys float up. We're just going to drop it down to the slip screen. And one other thing I want to show you too is that because the tight end has kind of a deep crossing route, this tight end has a deep crossing route. He's going to act like a fourth blocker for me up the higher level, basically taking on this guy right here. So I wanted to show this to you guys. I think this is a really good, this is probably a very underrated slip screen. I don't think a lot of people are talking about it, but it has a concept that basically is it is a concept that is really, really effective for, you know, it gives you that quick man read to get rid of that ball. You've got the underneath route, and you got really good blocking to actually go ahead and get yourself. It's almost like instead of just 3 people blocking for you, you actually almost have 5 because this guy, as soon as the ball gets released, turns into a blocker. So really effective screen, underrated. People aren't talking about it, but it's something you probably want to throw into your scheme. So let me go into the rest of this breakdown of this particular scheme for my patrons. So we're going to take a look at the Mountain Z spot. Inside zone just is a basic, zone play. So all you're really going to do is just going to hit that. I throw the inside zone because it allows me to attack my opponent off to the right side when I'm building off of this gun wide trips scheme. But let's go ahead and take a look at the motion Z spot. Now, there's a couple ways I can run this play. Now, there's a slight little tell. When you jump into this play, the guys actually shrink a little bit. But if you're actually coming out of the gun Y off trips, he's not going to tell that. He's not going to know that you're jumping into this play. Now, when I'm doing this play, I can do a couple different things. I can go ahead and take Eckler and put him on out route, or put him on a wheel route. It's really however I want to decide it. If my opponent's using a lot of man coverage, the out route actually will work really good against man coverage. My first progression is going to be this route right here. This is going to be my check down route, and it's really going to be my route that I'm going to try to force it down to. So all I'm really looking to do is that with this particular route by Williams, he will always get separation against man coverage. And unless the defender comes over and floats down and takes this away, that's going to be wide open. Now, what's cool about it too is that you've got this seam route by the tight end, and then you also have this corner route on the backside actually that you can hit. So if the defender is in man coverage and comes down and plays, it actually doesn't peel off and plays this corner route should be open for a big completion. Another thing I want to point out to you too is that this is actually kind of a cover 2 beater. And then you've also got this deep post sometimes will actually get some crazy separation. So why this got peeled off is because the ball got released. But I also have this little check down with the running back just to keep my opponent honest against any kind of man reads. So just a quick setup, do the little out route. Out route is good against man, keeps your opponent honest. He's always going to get separation against the guy, so you want to go and look to that route. Now, I don't know if we're going to get man coverage here. This might be cover 2. Okay, it is cover 2. And you can see right here, this route actually gets separation. So ball got misthrown. I'm playing against one of the better safeties, but you can see how that actually is very OP against cover 2. Let's watch Williams, see if the defender doesn't pull down. So we're just going to go and check it down right there and pick up an easy completion. And this will work as a cover 3 beater too. If you really read cover 3 ahead, it's better to do a streak because you don't want them slanted in. But if that safety pulls down, you can actually hit Henry for some big yards. So you can see right here the seam is available. So that's another fast read that you can hit. And this corner route will be available against man coverage and also will obviously float into a zone too, so you can actually hit that. The deep post on the backside is really nothing I'm looking to. It's just kind of a dead route. I could also audible some type of a route concept out there, but I'm really working for that spot and basically looking to the seam route. So it's really the combination of those two routes over there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the halfback angle. So halfback angle is basically a verticals concept. What makes this play great is that you've got that angle route by running back, and if it's man coverage, generally he's going to get separation and be able to get in there. Zone coverage, he'll float. Defenders will float up. So why I keep that is I keep it for my opponent just to keep them guessing, and it allows you to go ahead and tack the middle of the field and get that fast release. I think if we don't get man coverage, we get basic zone, we might actually throw this even before he cuts up. So now we had to wait because it was man coverage, but that's a nice little harassment route that you can do right in front of your opponent and actually get some pretty easy yards. So that's why I left that in. And you could throw it quick and pick up 5 or 10 yards. So it's a good play to sprinkle into the scheme when you're using it. Now the out route 2 is going to work very well against man coverage. So I'm going against one of the best defensive backs in the game. In the Honey Badger, but that's something that you can hit. And the two routes on the outside are basically all they're doing is just stretching things out. So I'm not really looking to that too much. If I'm expecting basically cover 2, I can go ahead and hit them with basically a cover 2 beater like this. which is a basic simple streak route, and you just want to do an inside pass lead so you get the ball in the middle of the field. But that's another thing you can do against cover 2. So in the previous play, this is going to be kind of a cover 2 beater. So your opponent, if you hit him a couple times with cover 2 beaters with this route, you're going to definitely keep your opponent honest about it. Now let's take a look at the final play, which is going to be basically this corners play. Now this is a staple play that I use in my scheme. But what this does is it incorporates Allen's route on the backside as a complement route. Now, what I like to do is I like to streak up Guyton and make sure my opponent has to take that in consideration. This is going to give me a couple different passing concepts. If I'm focusing off on the right side, basically I'm going to be looking to clear out the zones with this little in route. And the other routes are going to clear that out for me. If the defenders play down, a lot of times what's going to happen is that that route by Henry will be available for you. So that's another area that you can pop. And I've used this particular route concept in a lot of situations where I need to get first downs or move the ball down the field. So the Y corner is a staple play in my scheme. Also, you've got this little out and up route. So it works just like the out route as previously, but you can get some pretty good separation. If he's playing over the top coverage where everybody's floating up, that's available for you. Another thing, too, I want to point out to you is this goofy little post route. Against cover 2, cover 3, it gets in a nice little sweet zone of the area. So if your opponent really starts paying attention off to the right where the trip set is at, you can actually go ahead and hit them with this route concept. So as you can see right there, so I got pressure off the edge, made me throw the ball, but that running back was wide open. Got press coverage right here. And that's where basically this little corner route is going to be available for you, where you can get rid of that ball fairly quick. So this is a scheme that I'm going to throw into this Chargers scheme, or into this Chiefs scheme, just to kind of keep my keep my opponent guessing a little bit. I think a lot of it has to do is that I'm going to be able to go ahead and use this inside zone. So if he's really stacking one side of the field, or if he puts a star defender on the other side, I can go ahead and hit that. It also provides me with this little, this makeshift spot route. So that becomes very difficult to defend if he plays over the top coverage, and it's just a good way to pick up 7 or 8 yards, especially in a money down type of situation. So, guys, I'll be rolling out more offensive and defensive tips to take your game to the next level. So once again, thank you for your support. Until next time.